Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Fuller Files, the official podcast of the Syracuse Pulse. I'm Rocco Maiolo, the host of Fuller Files and the broadcaster for the Syracuse Pulse. Throughout the season, I'll be sitting down with Syracuse head coach Peter Fuller, as well as some members of the roster to keep you up to date with everything you need to know about the team. Joining me at this time is the man of the hour, the head coach of the Syracuse Pulse, Coach Fuller. Coach, thanks so much for joining me today. Welcome to your first of many appearances of the show, and how's everything going?
It's going good, Rocco. Busy day today. We've got training this morning, video tonight, and getting ready to play Chattanooga Football Club this weekend.
Which we will talk about later on in the episode, but for right now, why don't we start with the basics, of course, and why don't we start by you telling me and the viewers who you are and how you're and all about your soccer coaching journey and how you made your way to Syracuse.
Sure. I'd be glad to. Peter Fuller, head coach now, the Syracuse Pulse, formerly of Chattanooga Football Club, and had a number of stops along the way in my career. I'm 63, so when you've lived that long, you've had a chance to do lots of things. Grew up in Sudbury, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. Played professionally in Canada and the U.S. Have been coaching for, I guess, 30, 35 years, maybe a little longer than that. So really started my coaching career when I was still playing at 28. So it's been a long journey, but a good one. I always tell people I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have had an opportunity to make my living at a kids game. So it's been a great ride for me, and I'm loving being here in Syracuse.
And you mentioned throughout your coaching journey, and from what I remember you telling me earlier, you made a stop in the MLS, correct?
Yes, I was the reserve team head coach and second assistant with New England Revolution. And then after that, I was at Philadelphia Union, was the U18s coach for the academy, and also had first team duties as well there. So.
Okay. Talk about what that experience was like and some of the biggest takeaways from your time there at the top flight.
Well, got a chance to work with some great players, obviously, both at New England and at Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, obviously being in the academy, I had a chance to work with, quite a few players who have gone on to play professionally. Derek Jones, Brendan Aronson, I guess, is probably the one that most people are most familiar with right now. But Mark McKenzie, who's left Philly to go to Celtic. Austin Trusty, who has played in our national team as well. Anthony Fontana, who's playing in Italy now. So many, many good players. I've been very blessed and had the opportunity to work with some great coaches. Steve Nicol at New England, Jimmy Curtin, John Hackworth at Philadelphia. Tommy Wilson was our academy director at Philly. Again, probably too many to mention, but very, very fortunate and blessed to work at that level and had an opportunity to learn a lot. So it was a great experience for me.
All right. And as you made your way to Syracuse, the Salt City, as they call it, can you tell me about your first impressions on the Syracuse Pulse and everything that has come with it so far?
Sure.
With that, what are some things about the club and the city of Syracuse that you are absolutely loving and have been able to appreciate?
Sure. It's a great city. I'm familiar with Syracuse. I actually went to school in Western New York at a small school, Houghton College, down on the southern tier, about 3 hours from here. So I'm very familiar with the city, but have really enjoyed my time here. Great people, some phenomenal Italian food, probably the best I've ever had. So, in so many good places to go. The people have been incredibly welcoming and have treated me magnificently. I love the people that I work with, right from our staff, Colin Falvey, Nick Kalo, Isabel Clark, our trainer, obviously Penny Phillips Powers, Anthony Epifani, our ops people who do a great job and do it behind the scenes and work tirelessly doing it, right up through our owner, Jim Smith, who I've enjoyed so much getting to know. And he's an incredible guy. And I think if everybody knew how much that guy has put forth to try and make this club go and to make it work, I think they'd be shocked. He's a fantastic owner, and feel really blessed and fortunate to be working with the people here that I work with.
All right. And now why don't we talk about, the team itself and the competition you guys have faced. What have been the biggest strengths and weaknesses that you've seen from your team thus far?
I think the strengths are, first off, is our chemistry and camaraderie. We've got a really tight group. One of the tightest I've probably ever been affiliated with, to be fair. They really care about each other. They work hard for each other. They push each other in training, compete with each other. But when it's over, it's over, and they're a close group. I feel really fortunate, but obviously we got a late start. I didn't get the job here until I believe the 4th of February. So we were basically putting things together on the fly. Obviously, we opened on the 26th of March. So put a team together in about 2 to 3 weeks, and no preseason, just got straight into it. And the guys have responded brilliantly, and they've done a terrific job. So I think our first strength is the unity within the group. I think we've got quality. We've got quality goalkeeping. I think you build a team from the goal out. Macklin Robinson, Daniel Gagliardi have been terrific. You're talking about two guys too. We're really fortunate to have them. Two guys that have played in the USL Championship. Gags was drafted by Vancouver. Was their last cut. So we've got two very, very good goalkeepers. Our defense is solid. We've got a terrific midfield. And up front, I think we've got pretty good balance up front in terms of left and right footers. I think we can play a number of different ways. Obviously, we're struggling to put the ball in the net. But I'd also say this. I had a friend of mine that just did some expected goal stats for us, and guy who put some analytics together for us. And he's done 6 games, and of those, 5 of those we were well ahead of our opponent in terms of expected goals. Ball's just not going in the net for us right now, but we're creating enough chances to win games, and we've obviously got to finish. The guys know that, but I think I'd be far more worried if in that particular stat of expected goals we were 0 for 6 right now. I'd have some serious concerns, but I think we'll find the back of the net. A lot of times, honestly, Rocco, when you're putting a team together, it's so much easier to teach a team to destroy than it is to create. And I think for us, we've learned how to defend. We've learned how to defend well collectively. Low block, mid block. Our press is excellent. There are times I think we struggle to get on the same page in terms of our attacking play, and some of that's my fault. We've probably played or gone over 4 or 5 different systems. So, and soccer is a game of chemistry. So it's going to take time. But I think anytime you're trying to create something that's going to be lasting, I think you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle in terms of you're going to have hard time. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. So.
Okay. So very, very good information to hear, definitely. And, with that, to this date, your team is 2-4 with your last win coming on May 8th in the I-90 Thruway Derby against Flower City Union.
Yeah.
Since that game, your team has gone 0-1, aside from having a 17-day break and then going on to a 5-game spell in a span of 19 days. First, tell me what you have seen your team struggle with since that win on May 8th, and how do you keep your team in shape during a 2-week break like the one that you had?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think, and you've done well. You've hit on a number of, I think, key issues with the team in terms of, we obviously beat Flower City, played very well, particularly in the second half. We made a change from a 3-5-2 to a 4-3-3, and it worked obviously very well. Went to Michigan to play Michigan Stars, who are a good team, and to be fair, I think a draw flattered them. I thought we did enough to win. I think the key thing about that game is that I think probably frustrates me a little bit. I've always prided myself in that my teams are always well prepared in terms of set pieces, and obviously we gave up 2 set piece goals there at Michigan. But so we had taken, at that point we'd taken 4 of 6 points, felt like we were on a good roll and had it going, and then you take 16 days off, and it's just it didn't do us any favors. I mean, obviously you broadcast the Valley United game. We were poor. I mean, there's no you can put makeup and a dress and a hat on a pig, but it's still a pig, and that's what we didn't get it done, and the guys know that. I mean, we were poor, but I also think that the layoff didn't do us a lot of favors. And then came back, 4 days later against a very, very good Maryland Bobcats team. And to be fair, I mean, I've just been cutting video, and we're going to have a video session tonight. And I thought there was a lot to like in the game, especially second half. We did some really good things. And some of what I alluded to before in terms of our attacking play, I think a team that's in a good rhythm and playing a lot together, I think we caused them some massive problems. Not that we didn't, but I think even more so where had some guys in the right places to finish. So.
All right. And last game, like you mentioned, when you changed up in the 4-3-3 formation, we saw the lineup itself change drastically, where at the top of the 4-3-3, we usually see Alex Satrustegui centering Caleb Jackson and Juan Louis. And on defense, that changed as well, where usually we have Johnny Campbell in place where Moria Musi was in the game against Maryland Bobcats, along with Kyle Newell in place of where Christian Wagelin was. Is there any room for concern there? I'm sure that's a big question that, can be answered for not just me, but for all the Syracuse fans that were watching that game as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're 8 games into it's a 30-some game season. So to me, we had just played on the Wednesday night and played poorly. As I said, I think that layoff had quite a bit to do with that. But I also felt we needed to rotate the squad. 5 games in 19 days, you were going to need to get some new blood in the lineup. So for us, to me, it was sensible to make some changes. And there's a few of those guys. I think Morion Musi was outstanding the other day. He had a terrific game, and Mo has been training well and doing very well in training. So to me, he'd earned his place, and as did a few of those guys. And I thought first half we struggled a little bit, especially right out of the gate. But as the game wore on, guys got better and better. Christian Wagelin was a classic example of that. Had a real tough time, probably the first 20 to 25 minutes. By the end of the game, he didn't put a foot wrong. I mean, he was terrific. Obviously, Molly Carpe, had a great chance to score, missed it, but he also did some good things too. So there was a lot to like, and I think early in the season, it's not a bad thing to mix things up and to keep everybody on their toes. I think, soccer players are no different than once you get comfortable in your situation, sometimes you lose your edge a little bit. And I wanted to make sure that that's not happening with our guys. So.
Okay. And right now you guys are about to go into your third of 5 games in 19 days. This Saturday, when you take on Chattanooga FC for the first time this season, like you mentioned prior, what are some things about their game that you're trying to get your team to really pay attention to?
Well, they're very, very good in possession. Some of that possession is possession for possession's sake. I think teams will tend against a team that has the ball a lot to make some foolish mistakes because that you want to get the ball, you want to have it. I think our thing is being comfortable with the fact that they're probably going to have more of the ball than we will. They're at home. They're a team that's built on that. So be comfortable. If they're playing around the outsides rather than playing through us or over us, we're probably in good shape. They've got some real weapons. Marcus Nagelstad up front, maybe leading the league right now in goal scoring. Taylor Gray is an outstanding player who plays at the 11 for them. Brett Jones at the 7, who can be replaced by Damian Rodriguez. They've got a really good midfield. Ian Cerro, Alex McGrath, Richard Dixon, who played for me when I was there at the 6. They're a terrific team. And I would have predicted at the beginning of the season they probably would be the top team in the East. And, they sit there right now and they've played the least amount of games. So they're in a good position. Chat's always tough to play at home. They're going to have 2,000 or 3,000 people at the game. So it's going to be, we'll have our hands full. But I do believe we're playing better and better now. And I think we have a realistic chance to go in there and take points for sure.
All right. Well, Coach, that's all I got for you today. I want to thank you again for your time, and I hope you had fun in your first appearance of the show, and can't wait to see you for the next episode.
Rocco, I did, and want to thank you for your hard work with our broadcasts and those kinds of things. Can't thank you enough for what you're doing with this and how much it means to the club. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And hey, it's a dream. It's a dream come true for me. This is something for me that, I've always wanted to do. And hey,
sure.
I'm doing it now. So
good, man. That's great.
Thanks so That's much, great. Coach. And good luck for the rest of the season. And we'll see you next time for sure.
Terrific. I'm looking forward to chatting with you again. Take care, Rocco.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Should be it. That's all for this episode, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into our first presentation of Fuller Files. Join us next time. Be sure to tune in to 11 Sports to catch all the Syracuse Pulse action, and follow us on all social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.